guys, so today's video is going to be a review and actually kind of like a demo slash first impression slash comparison to the Revlon Whipped Foundation and the new Covergirl Clean Foundation. It's a whipped cream foundation that I recently got. I actually did this video when I first got the product, and then I filmed it and everything, and then I ended up using it again, and my feelings were a little bit different from when I filmed it. So I decided I wanted to actually kind of like test it out in a few different ways so that I could give you also a review. So I'm going to kind of show you my first impression that I filmed in this video, and then I'm going to go into comparing the two of the Covergirl and the Revlon, and then I'll kind of give you my overview on everything. So let's get into kind of the demo on how I applied it my first time, and then that will be like kind of my first impression of the Covergirl Clean Foundation. What I'm going to do is just apply it all over my face, and as you can see, my skin does not have, I don't have the greatest complexion myself. I do have some acne scarring and some redness. So that I'm not caking it on, I'm actually going to be using a beauty blender sponge and just kind of bounce it on. Covers pretty nicely. It pretty much covered all of those acne scars that I had. So that's what it looks like. I'm not hating it. I do see that I do kind of need a little bit more coverage right here. I could probably use a little bit more foundation right there, but I don't want to cake on the foundation. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of a concealer, and I'm using the Amazing Cosmetic concealer. So here's my face all completed. As you can see, it blends like real nicely in with all my other makeup. It matches pretty nicely with my skin tone, and I like the way that it looks right now. As you can see, the foundation looks pretty nice, pretty flawless. I didn't have to put too much concealer on at all, so I really like that, and I don't feel like it feels like I'm wearing makeup. But we'll see how it wears throughout the day. If it feels a little bit heavier, if I notice that I can feel like I'm wearing makeup. You know, sometimes when you wear foundation, you don't really necessarily always feel it right away, but as the day goes on, you can feel that you're wearing foundation and you just want to take it all off, you know? Like you feel like you got a cake face. So I don't feel like it looks cakey at all. Applying it with the beauty blender, I really liked the way I applied it that way, and usually I actually hate using the beauty blender, but when I do use creams or whipped foundations, thicker foundations, I just find that it doesn't look so cakey. Unless I do need it, if I have some like acne, I definitely would just be using brush because it just kind of covers it. So here's what it looks like about halfway throughout the day. I do feel like it is oily. I do need to blot it. I have not blotted it yet. I just kind of wanted to show you guys before I go and blot it. I have not blotted it. It is greasy on my T-zone, under my eyes, and on my chin. So, and I do feel like it's already wearing. It's kind of getting blotchy on my forehead. So again, this is half the day. Keep in mind, I did not set it or put a primer on it. So maybe if I would have put a primer, it would have lasted a little bit longer, or maybe even if I set it, it could have prevented it from being blotchy and kind of wearing. But again, with it being humid, I just feel like this foundation might not work for me in the summertime, just because I don't want to look like a blotchy, hot mess. I'm familiar with the new Covergirl Clean Whipped Cream Foundation actually. It is just like a little jar. It's a lot smaller than the Revlon foundation, obviously. And it's only actually like a 0.2 ounces larger. So they're pretty, not like a huge difference in sizing. This one is 0.8 and this one is 0.6. The price is also not a huge difference. It's like half off. This is probably like $11.99, goes around to probably like $10 to $13. depending on the store you go to, and I found this for around $5 to $6, $7. As far as longevity goes, I feel like the Revlon one definitely by far wins the long wearing, only because I did use the foundation. In the first impression you see I did not use a kind of a setting powder or a primer, and that was only because I just forgot to put a primer on, and I didn't want to set it just because I wanted to see how the foundation felt and wore, because when you first applied it, it doesn't feel heavy, but it does look like it would be, and I don't set the Covergirl or the Revlon one hardly ever just because it wears a lot nicer, so I don't have to set the Revlon one. So I was assuming that that would be the case for the Covergirl one, which was not. First impression, it was like 80 degrees and it was very humid, very hot, and as you could tell, it kind of wore off halfway through the day, and by a few hours after I showed you that, it was literally like blotchier. It was like, it looked like crap. So on a colder day, it was like a few days later, I know in May it was cold, it was 50 degrees and it was pretty cold. I did wear the foundation again, and I did put a primer on it, and I did set it, and it actually did last a lot longer than it did compared to the hot and humid day. It did not break me out, thankfully. I've had it for about a week and I did test it. It did not break me out. Usually I'll give it a day or two, maybe 3, and it will like show any breakouts. I know sometimes when I use the Revlon foundation, if I use it like back to back, like days in a row, I do notice I'll get like these little bumps. They're pimples, they're like under the skin, but they're not like huge whiteheads or anything like that. I'll just get like little bumps around my chin area. The Covergirl one does oxidize, the Revlon one does not, and as the day goes on, the Revlon one looks so good, and you can really wear it in the humid weather. As far as blendable, I think that they're both pretty blendable. You can use this one with your finger. As far as the Revlon one, I really hate to use this one with the finger because I feel like it's a little bit thicker. This one is more of like a whipped cream, and I feel like this one is more of like a jello kind of consistency. They're both very creamy. They both feel light, and they don't feel like really heavy on the face. Some of them a little goes a long way, so I feel like they will last very long, and they both cover pretty much anything and everything. So that's what I like. They both probably win on the covering wise, because if you have acne or scarring or unevenness, you use any of those and it makes your skin look seriously like so flawless. There's not a very wide selection of the Covergirl, maybe just because it is newer. The Revlon one definitely has a lot more wider of a selection, but I would say that they both run kind of, not, I guess both of them don't, but the Covergirl definitely looks more yellow toned. Overall, if I had to choose one, I would choose the Revlon one because, again, it looks better on my oily skin, so keep that in mind. The Covergirl one might look great and really work for you if you have drier skin, but I have really oily skin, so it just didn't work for me. The Covergirl one isn't the worst foundation I've tried by far, but it's not the best. I love the way it looks when you first apply it, but I just can't deal with it not staying and having to worry about it, so that I probably wouldn't really care to buy again because I don't want to have to worry about the hassle. But again, you've seen the way it looks when you first applied it. It looked so good. I just wish that it lasted a little bit longer, but you never know. You never know. What works for me might work better for you, or what doesn't work for me might work better for you. So that was kind of my like review, first impression, demo kind of thing. Let me know if you want to see other types of videos like this. Sorry it took me so long. I know I said I was going to put this video up a lot sooner, but I kind of used it again and wanted to let you guys know how I felt about it. So it was kind of like a review all in first impression and everything all in one. So I hope you guys have a really great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.